just be kind to people.
Yeah.
Don't be rude. Treat people with respect. One of the things I can always remember, and it's funny to me how different areas of the country have different customs. So we lived in the South, we lived in the Midwest, we've lived in the Southwest, and one of the things that we learned growing up in the South was when somebody grown enters the room, you should speak.
Yeah.
You don't even have to know someone to speak to them. Someone comes in, you don't know them, you see them, you acknowledge their presence, right? And it's just so funny to me how other parts of the country, that's just not really done. And so we've definitely seen it as like rude, but at first that's how we saw it, right? But for the most part, it's kind of, maybe that's just not really taught here,
Yeah.
So it's that's just something that we just kind of find funny sometimes, But we definitely try to tell our kids, hey, when a grown up, an adult comes in the room, hey, speak. Hey, you're going to a room, hey, speak to people, acknowledge their presence, introduce yourself, those types of things. Just being a nice person, being polite, right? We've definitely talked about those types of things, and I can definitely say, I'm glad that my parents taught me about being kind. There's been so many times that just being kind, and like you said, you're attracting that type of stuff. Just being kind can get you open certain doors for you, just because you're just not some rude, cantankerous person. If you got a gentle, sweet spirit about yourself, people tend to want to be around people who are like that. More so than someone who is got a whole bunch of drama with them. And that's something that I've definitely tried to teach my kids, definitely have fun and all these certain things, but there's no need to be rude to people. That's uncalled for. And that's one of the things that I can definitely say that I've enjoyed seeing, like even when I've enjoyed watching, even when my kids don't know that, I'm watching how they interact with other kids, and they're just nice people. And that's a good thing, So that makes me glad to know that that's something that I've done and that I've done the right way.
Yes. I agree with all of that. And I've been in situations, and it's funny now that I think about it, because the people that this happened with, I'm very close with now, and just love them to death. But when I first met this group of people, and I came in, and I was like, first time there, never met anybody there, and nobody spoke to me at all. It was just the weirdest vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't take it personal. I kind of just thought maybe something else was going on that I didn't know about. But that's just the way that this particular group of people did things. They didn't mean any harm by it, but it just, I guess it was offsetting me, and made me start second guessing everything that occurred on that particular day. And this was like at a cookout or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's like with me, at my house, when there's a newcomer or somebody that has never been there before, we all reach out and speak to them.
Yeah.
No matter what we feel like. That's just like somebody let's just like one of my nephews brings a girlfriend to a cookout or something like that. We want to make her feel comfortable. Even if you might not feel like this particular girl's intentions are in the right place, or their vibe might be off, you still try and make people comfortable, because you just need to have a general respect for people, period.
Right.
So I kind of understand what you're saying, and it can kind of set you back a little bit, because it makes you feel like people don't like you. But some people, when you come into their presence, it's like you have to earn that respect. And it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like in dating situations, I've seen where you might go into a certain place and because, well, I'm just gonna be honest, this is the Dad Roots podcast, and a lot of times I've seen where families didn't have a lot of male figures in the family, and sometimes there's some resentment towards males, and you can just feel it because past relationships haven't worked out, or he ain't no good just like everybody else, and it's like you almost have to prove yourself to them, which is just weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen this happen time and time again, and it can be intimidating. It can be intimidating to men.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I don't want to go off into that. But showing people kindness to begin with, you can kind of take away that nervousness and I guess the apprehension. You don't have to worry about that when you're just being kind and generous to people and just trying to make people feel welcome. Now, another thing that you said, when people come into a room, you, like adults, came into a room and you spoke. You were told to speak. Now, I wasn't told to speak, but it's a crazy kind of way that your dad can teach you things without telling you. So my dad's friends, if they come into a room, out of respect, if I'm sitting down, I will stand up, acknowledge them, speak with them, shake their hand, and look them in their eyes.
Yeah.
That's just what's done, out of respect.
Right.
Now, if I come into a room and it's an older man sitting down, he doesn't have to stand up and acknowledge me.
Right.
He can speak he should still speak, but he doesn't have to stand up, shake my hand. He can stay seated and I can shake his hand and look him in the face and look him in his eyes. So those are the type of things that I feel like that we have to teach our boys. And mothers, if you're listening and you may be a single mother, you may not know that. And we've talked about this before, where fathers teach men or boys how to be men. Mothers teach their daughters how to be women.
That's right.
So this may be something that a woman might not necessarily look at the same way we do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of just trying to give a little nugget of advice out there for any mothers. Make sure that your son is standing up, acknowledging males. Make sure that he's getting enough time around males so he knows how to interact with males. Therefore, when he gets on his job, that he knows how to interact with men.